Fellas, if the Cincinnati Reds were to open a seller's market, who would be on the shelves? Welcome to Riverfront Territory. My name is Mason Estep with Reds Daily. I'm joined today with my co-host, Trent Rosecrans, a legend in the Cincinnati sports journalism community for quite some time. I should get that exact number here for these intros. And Danny Graves, who, of course, is the all-time saves leader for the Cincinnati Reds. We are part of the Foul Territory Network, and today we are talking trade deadline baseball for the Cincinnati Reds. If the Reds are going to be buyers or sellers. In this episode, we're going to talk about if they're sellers, who do we have potentially asset-wise that we could involve in trades, and everything else that could be with that. So, Trent, starting with you, if the Reds were sellers, who do you see as potentially guys that we could move at the deadline?
The first thing I always look at is who's a free agent after the end of the season, right? If you're selling and who you're not going to get anything, especially, maybe a guy like, I don't know that there's anybody who's going to be a free agent that you're expecting to get draft pick compensation. And we don't even know what the heck that's going to be after this because there's a lockout looming and there's always saber rattling and there's more than ever. And man, the owners keep putting out some dumb stuff. But anyway, on that, so you don't know exactly what it's all going to be like. That said, you know who's going to be a free agent and that you need to, this is going to be your best chance. What does everybody always need? They always need relievers, right, Danny? You relievers are a special bunch, and I mean that.
Yes.
Because you never know what you're going to get. Special. You can't plan on them being any good long term. But so I think you kind of start there. My guy that I'm looking at that I think could be a really interesting arm for a lot of people is left-handed reliever Brock Burke. This is a guy that they just kind of picked up, got for nothing. But, man, he's been really, really good. There were some the Reds sent over this last night. He was his 39th appearance of the season last year, which leads the National League. So he's been available and he's been ready and he's pitched well. It was his 32nd game. So out of 39, 32 of those, he hasn't allowed a single run, an earned run. That's tied with Alex Vesia and Dylan Lee of the Braves for the most in the National League. He has an 0.84 ERA at Great American Ballpark this season. That's really good in a place that you don't think of ERA starting with a 0. Danny can correct me on that. I know maybe he threw some of those up, but yeah, that's a guy. He's left-handed. He's not making a lot of money. You can always use left-handed relievers. You can always use that guy to come in and neutralize a lefty late. The thing that he does so well is left-handers just can't get extended against him, and they can't pull it in the air. So that's how you can be successful at Great American Ballpark, is if you don't let guys get extended, the margin of error is greater for you as a pitcher, because if they're not extended, they have a less of a chance of hitting it out of the ballpark.
Uncomfortable at bats, obviously, off Brock Burke.
Uncomfortable at bats, exactly.
Yeah, and I love that you threw that out there, because it's not a sexy name. It's not somebody that people talk about, like, who's, we need to trade for a guy like Brock Burke. But this is an under the radar guy that could help just about any team, contending team, American League or National League. Because, the special guys in the bullpen, especially those nasty lefties, man, that's what helps you win ball games in the postseason. I love that pick.
No team ever says, well, we got too many lefties in the bullpen.
Right. Never. That's probably the first time I've ever heard somebody say that. Too many lefties.
The first time that sentence has been arranged in history.
I just have too much money. Too much money in the bank. Yeah. That's tough. I mean, Danny Graves knows that feeling. I don't. But,
Those words would never
Too
come
many
out of my mouth.
trophies on the shelf. Too many trophies on the shelf.
Oh
steak
boy,
Pick
I
the
love
Hall
that.
of Fame I'm going to represent today.
I got a quick question for you, Trent. And when you mentioned the CBA and the possible lockout, do you think like the rumblings around the journalistic community, like what's this going to do for the trade deadline? Is it going to make teams want to go out and trade more, or is it going to make them want to trade less?
I think every team's different. I actually talked to Nick Kroll about that yesterday. He goes, all I know is what I know right now, right? All I know is what we have, the rules that we're going to have in place, and the contracts that we have signed. What happens after that, out of my hands. So I'm not going to react to any speculation because it's just not something you can do. The task is to look at what you can do this season to be the best that you can be going forward and do the best job you can at the trade deadline. So other teams might be different. And some of those have different owners, have different levels of voices in that room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that Phil Castellini has one of the loudest voices in that room. So he may have less experience with these kind of things. And I don't know that he's giving his GM and his front office the marching orders based on what he thinks is going to happen. So I maybe some other teams feel differently, but right now I know Nick told me that he's just like, I can't guess, and that's not going to help anything. So I'm just going to go business as usual.
Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's kind of what that's kind of par for the course with Nick Kroll. He kind of keeps it close to his chest a little bit, and then sometimes a flurry, can happen. So,
Nick's thing is he's very honest. He's not going to lie.
Right.
I've known Nick for 20 years, and I don't think he's ever lied to me or even like purposefully misled me. And that's a rare thing in this business. And
yeah,
it's one of the reasons why players come here and they like it here, because Nick is a straight shooter. And he's not going to BS them and tell them just what they want to hear. And I think a lot of people, myself included, respect that.
Absolutely. Players respect it for sure. Fans maybe not, but
I mean, Danny, you've played for different general managers, and there are times where, like,
lies and lies.
Saying.
Yeah,
but like you've also been on the other side with Nick, and you've talked to other players. You've talked to players and how they feel about him and this organization in that way.
Well, yeah, it's completely different. There were some general managers that, like, as soon as they opened their mouth, it was a lie, and Nick is not like that. You've known Nick probably the same amount of time I have. I knew Nick when he was just our video guy when I was still playing. And he's always been the same guy. Like, no matter what his title was, he wasn't any different, and he wasn't going to blow smoke. So you love that. It's not something that you want to hear sometimes, or I know the fans don't like to hear it, but it is what it is. And that's how Nick is going to tell you.
And we all have bosses.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Some people just think because he's the president that he's the boss, but he's not.
Yeah, there's always a hierarchy.
Yeah.
So Trent, your number one most interesting pick for this team, if it were sellers, it was Brock Burke. Danny, who do you think is the most interesting asset the Reds have that they could potentially move at the deadline?
So I think when we've mentioned this before, Brady Singer is probably going to be on the shelf, one of those guys that's going to be gone. But I really think Nathaniel Lowe is a very interesting pick here, because this is a guy that obviously hits the ball out of the ballpark. He crushes right-handed pitching. He's hitting 280 plus against right-handers this season, with all his homers coming against the righties. but you got a guy that can play first base. He could DH. I believe he's even won a Gold Glove at first base, if I'm not mistaken. Like this is a guy that, as far as experience, which helps in the playoffs, you get this left-handed hitter off the bench, or if he's starting, you got a power bat, an extra power bat, whether he's in the middle of the order or you put him down at the bottom of the order. But it's a guy that can change the game with one swing. So it's a very intriguing name to throw out there. I'm not saying it's going to be the first one, but I think it's worthy of a look for teams that are looking for left-handed hitters.
And Danny, what I would also add to that is he's a guy who went to Boston last year at the deadline from Washington and helped that team out.
Yeah.
And so I think there's at least, even when you look at it, there's some precedent for this guy has been in that situation before. You know, another situation he's been in before, the World Series. He's got a ring.
Yes.
Yeah. And so this is a guy who's been around and seen a lot of things, and that stuff does come into play. And I think he is a guy that you feel comfortable bringing into your clubhouse and enhancing that clubhouse. And that's a good guy to have. And there's some value there.
Well, and you saw that from spring training when he wasn't guaranteed a spot on this team. And then when he does well in spring training, he's like, I'd like to do this, but wherever you want me to play, whatever you want me to do. Right. Was that kind of the consensus?
Yeah. And meant it.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't just saying it.
Yeah. So I think for the guy that I would pick, fellas, I think JJ Bleday is somebody that he signed through the season. I mean, if you would have told me that his baseball savant page would be, what it is when we signed him, I wouldn't have believed you. It's lit up with red and the 90 percentiles, and he's absolutely turned it around, and he's been great for the Reds, player of the month even. So I think he's a very interesting player they could move, and almost kind of reminds me of Josh Hamilton back in the day when they flipped him a Rule 5 pick, and they got somebody really great, a former he was a first overall, but a high draft pick with a lot of talent that got hot earlier in the season.
Yeah, but then you saw him win an MVP elsewhere. You're talking about a guy with some talent, so you're taking a risk. If you're like, hey, you know what, JJ Bleday's kind of figured it out. How are you going to get anyone comparable to JJ Bleday in the next 2 years if you trade him now? Now, maybe you think Hector Rodriguez is that guy that can go into left field, but a lot of these next outfielders, they have not come out and panned out yet in this organization. You do not feel, I don't know how confident you feel about any of your outfielders going forward right now in the next couple of years, and you're going to need them. JJ Bleday is maybe the one you feel the most comfortable about. So there is risk in trading him away at this point just to make a move.
That's a good point.
If they did want to trade him, Trent, they would probably ask for a little bit extra because they're giving up control, correct?
Certainly. You would get more in return, but you have to trust your internal scouting that you can replace that in the future. Mm-hmm. And hey, they've done it 2 years in a row. They got Austin Hayes, and Austin Hayes gave them a lot of value last year. And then they kind of waited around and were waiting and hoping for someone like a JJ Bleday or Eugenio Suarez, and then they moved on from him. So I think, yeah, it's possible to come back, but you can't go to that well too often and expect something every time. Maybe it's a Michael Toglia. I don't know. But yeah, I think there is a lot of, you have to trust your internal scouting on what you think is going to happen. They did that when you bring up the Josh Hamilton thing. They had internal, they felt like, hey, we're selling high now. And it wasn't exactly high, but they saw what did happen, the deterioration. It just happened a little more slowly than they expected. And, I understood the trade at the time, and I still understand it. But if you would have held on to him, I mean, he was the AL MVP in 2010. Could the Reds have used another bat in 2010? But do they get there without Edinson Volquez?
Right.
Right.
No, it's a great point, and I think you're right. Internal scouting is really a big factor for the Reds with all of this, and for all of our listeners, if you do your internal scouting when you're placing your bets, and if you're involved in any of the sports betting markets, you might just be a good candidate to check out one of our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Baseball fans, the MLB season is in full swing, and FanDuel is giving you a chance to call your shot with daily dingers. Joining the action is easy. Just make your free pick on who's hitting a home run in their game, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. It's just another reason why FanDuel is the home of home runs. So are you ready to play your game? Head over to FanDuel.com/podcast to get started. That's FanDuel.com/podcast to opt in for daily dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back to Riverfront Territory. If you have not subscribed, please do so. We had a statistic the other week, Trent. I think what was it? It was like 70% of our viewers haven't subscribed, and I think that's probably because the algorithm pushes out and guesses that you can't wait to see our lovely faces. So maybe you think you're already subscribed. A lot of people think they are, and they aren't already. Trent. So if you guys could hit subscribe, maybe hey, if we get to 1,000, maybe me and Danny will grow beards out to match Trent, and we'll be the three amigos. Who knows?
It would have to be a fake beard because I can't grow one of those.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we've been talking trade
I'm not
deadline.
shaving.
Oh. So if we don't get to 1,000, are you saying, Trent, you'll shave it?
No, I'm not shaving. I don't care. Like, it's got to be a big fat check in my mailbox for me to shave.
I wonder what your number is. We'll revisit this in a future segment.
I have my number. We have numbers.
What's your number? What's your number to shave?
How many commas?
The iconic beard.
There are multiple commas.
Guys, if anybody would like to donate to the Trent Shave His Beard fund, it's going to take a couple commas. So let us know in the comments. That's something you can do. Anyways, back to the trade deadline. We talked about the player we each found most interesting in a potential seller's situation for the Cincinnati Reds team. Let's talk a little bit more, guys. Who else yes, Trent?
One comma, maybe. I mean, but several digits.
How many digits?
What's the number? There's a number in your head. I can see.
Because really, if we got to 2 commas, it's going to have a dot, a period, and not on the far side. So no, I anything with 6 digits, I'll do it.
I was thinking six
and I don't
digits.
think we're getting that.
6 digits after the period, right?
Yeah, at least 100,000. I'll do it for 100,000. 100K.
All right, new goal. New goal.
I don't expect that to go. No, I'm talking dollars, not subscribers. I want dollars.
Okay, I was going to say there's a lot of people that will do like the how many likes or how many subscribers before XYZ. You're not going to do that.
Cold hard cash, homie.
I'll have to do the math on how many subscribers would result in that type of check for an annual year of Riverfront.
Yeah, do that, Mason.
Yeah, okay.
I want to know. I'd love to know.
And then that's our new goal.
That's our new goal.
All right. Well, yeah, noted, Trent. Noted. So, all right, fellas. What other names? Let's
dive headfirst in Nair for that.
Out of a plane?
No, just into a pool of Nair naked. I'll do that for $100K.
You are negotiating against yourself because no one's like you're just increasing what you're willing to do.
This is like me telling Scarlett Johansson where to meet me for the date. It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter.
All right. All right. We've got Scarlett Johansson delivering $100,000 check for Trent to dive naked into what was it? Something. So
Nair.
Well,
Nair.
Well, I don't want to see Trent diving naked anywhere.
Nair still exist? No, you don't. Nobody does. I would have to pay for that to be broadcast, and I ain't doing it. So
okay, where were we?
Healing trades, all right. Let's see. I think we should go back to Brady Singer. We talk about what Brady Singer did the other day against a very good Milwaukee team, a guy that you feel very good about taking the ball every 5 days. He had the blisters. He pitched through it. He's gotten hit a couple times. He'll pitch through it. He is just that guy that if you hand him the ball every 5 days, he's going to go out there capable of going 7 like he did yesterday, capable of pitching like that. But at least that he's going to go out there, and even if he gives up a couple and you say, hey, you're going to have to wear this, and if you can go 6 and wear it if you're having a bad outing, he will do that. He's a team guy. He's pitched out of the bullpen in the playoffs. He's a quiet guy, but he is a competitor. He's got good stuff. He can perform at a high level. Again, that is, I just think of what is in demand at the deadline. Starting pitchers are always at a premium. Relievers are at a premium. Arms are at a premium. And if he's healthy, he's a free agent after this season. You can pluck him in, and every team will probably feel better if he's there 5 or 4.
Yeah, I love Brady Singer. Whatever the innings, he's going to go deep. He's going to give you 90 to 100 pitches, regardless of, regardless of what's happening in the first couple innings. He's not going to cry wolf and say, take me out. This guy wants the ball. And that's, for a team that's contending or going to be a postseason team, you want somebody to take the ball, as you said, in any role. But as far as starting, gosh, I want this guy in the rotation. The month of June has been great for him. He's given up the 4 earned runs in the month of June in the 4 starts. I think 4 starts, right? So, and his best outing this last one. I would imagine that if the Reds are sellers, he's probably the first one team's going to be asking for, right?
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, I just think if they are sellers, he's the guy that is going to maybe bring you the most back of the guys who will be a rental. If you maybe JJ Bleday will bring you back more, but if you're talking about pure rentals, I think he is your most valuable piece.
Yeah.
And what's interesting too, guys, is with that CBA, with the collective bargaining agreement, Trent, you've said that you expect a lockout, right? Is that still true?
Yeah. I'd be shocked if there were winter meetings this year, quite honestly. We saw that when a couple of years back, when there is a CBA, when there is a lockout, there's no winter meeting. So, which really stinks because it was in San Diego this year.
You can still go.
I mean, why? Yeah, but I have to pay for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's on
San Diego. Like,
you could craft a story out of that.
It's not the cheapest place, and why couldn't it be Opryland or Orlando that they cancel instead? We cancel San Diego, so
maybe they could add that to the
biggest
negotiation.
problem with this work stoppage. Right. Yes. That the winter meeting should be in San Diego every year. I agree.
Yeah. So my question for you guys is, if that is a near certainty in your mind, Trent in particular, and there's not as much money on the books as a result, if there's an enduring lockout that's not being paid out, does that incentivize teams to push, maybe further than they would in a normal season, if they're competing in the second half?
I think it could, certainly, especially if you have a team that is older, if you have a team that you have expiring contracts or guys who are going to be free agents, and it looks like this is kind of your last rodeo. I don't know who that is off the top of my head, but yeah, definitely. I can see those teams pushing all in, and really going for it. And I don't see the Reds as one of those teams because you have Hunter Green and Ellie De La Cruz under team control for a couple more years. But those times are ticking, and that clock is ticking, and so it'll be super interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah. So other names that we expect to be potentially made available. Screwball, of course, is probably the prize of everybody. An absolute elite pitcher, ace level, multiple Cy Youngs, I think back to back. So, and there's also the familiar name there, Aroldis Chapman, who is somebody that could be available. So I think that the implications of the CBA is that I could see I could see teams leaning more into the extreme one way or the other because there may not be baseball for a little while. So sorry about that, fellas. So yeah, it'll be interesting. What about teams like the Dodgers? The Dodgers, of course, are always looking to add talent. This would be, they've won World Series in the past 2 seasons, so they've got a top farm system and looking for some pitching, of course, and maybe even could be something that the Reds could provide. So yeah, Dodgers.
You know what? Can I? Let me tell you something about Dodgers real quick, Mason. Sorry to interrupt you, but if the Reds are sellers, they need to try to come get Tyler Stevenson because their backup catcher is not wanted in LA. So, maybe come offer some good pieces for Tyler Stevenson. That's just a thought to throw out there.
Yeah. If anyone listening,
I think it's a really interesting thought.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the situation out there, I think his name's Rushing.
Dalton Rushing.
He had a rough game with just some pitcher named Shohei Ohtani, and on totally different pages. And I think Shohei, wanted to he didn't want to challenge a pitch, and he was pushing for it, and then Shohei was wrong, which unbelievable that could ever be possible. And yeah, Rushing just was on the bench, clearly upset, and yada yada. And I actually saw a clip. I think John Boy was interviewing some players about who would you not want to sit next to on the bus. Which what a question to ask. And both the guys said Rushing. So yeah. Anyways, long story short, it may be time for a new backup catcher for the Dodgers for sure.
Yeah. Well, Shohei was right actually.
Oh, he was right.
Rushing didn't want to challenge.
Okay.
Yeah,
Shohei did.
Shohei was right, and he was like,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't see that from pitchers often, and Rushing was just shaking his head no. And like the umpire's like, oh nope, he called it. He's got to do it, and Shohei was correct.
Yeah. It was quite embarrassing. I was embarrassed for him.
Either way, if you're going to call out Shohei, you probably want to be really sure. And if they're looking for somebody who's pretty good with ABS, Stevenson's the best.
One of the best, right?
Yeah, one of the best in the league.
Yeah. Shohei will be okay with him on ABS. Some of the other metrics don't like him as much. His bat hasn't come around. I think for the Reds are like, he's going to be a free agent, and you have Jose Trevino under contract, but it's tough finding finding catchers is tough. I always like, everybody is always like, why can't they find a better backup who can hit? And it's like, do you know what they call backup catchers who can hit? Starting catchers and all-stars, right? Like, there's so much that goes involved in that job, and Tyler Stevenson has really earned the respect of his pitchers. It is such a difficult job, and it hasn't gotten any easier when you've added on ABS and all these other things onto their plate. Like, catchers get these game changes have piled on catchers more than anybody else, and like, it is so hard to find good catchers that it's it's tough, and that's why the Reds have a guy they really like coming up, but he's also an A-ball and one of the younger players in high A, and Alfredo Duno. And it just kind of off the top, I mean, this is, I hate everything we heard about what's happening in Venezuela with the earthquakes. I texted with Jeremy Farrell, the Reds farm director, and just checked in because they have, including Alfredo Duno, several players from Venezuela in the system. And he said everyone who's close to the Red system has been accounted for, which is great news. And thank God for that, because that's a really scary thing. It's hard enough playing baseball half a world away from your home, but when things like that are going on, really difficult. And so, again, sorry to bring it down, but that is the good news is that everyone is accounted for from that have ties with the Reds, and sadly, not everybody else is accounted for with all that's going on.
That's great. Trent, thank you for the update. We will go to break really quickly, and we'll get our final thoughts on the trade deadline and the Reds as potential sellers.
When my puppy Bella has something wrong, I'm not going to go around Googling what to do.
Yeah, Kratz, let's have a better plan. Today's episode is sponsored by the ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program. It offers customizable accident and illness plans that can fit your budget, your lifestyle, and even your pet's particular quirks. Because let's be honest, vet bills can add up fast. ASPCA Pet Health Insurance has been around for almost 30 years and has covered over 1 million pets. And when it's time to submit a claim, it's easy. Just use their app and receive reimbursement for eligible vet bills directly into your bank account so you can get back to focusing on what really matters, your pet. To explore coverage, visit aspcapetinsurance.com/foul. That's aspcapetinsurance.com/foul. Again, that's aspcapetinsurance.com/foul. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independent American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance.
Welcome back to the Riverfront Territory podcast, a part of the Foul Territory Network. Today we're talking about the Reds as potential sellers when the trade deadline does come. We're going to be covering the trade deadline every week. So if this is something that you found interesting, please hit subscribe and do all that good stuff. Join the chat. We had a great episode. Our last episode was live, and we had a lot of interesting chats coming in, and we love to bring them up on the air. So join the conversation, and you can even make fun of us, and we'll probably laugh maybe and see. There's all kinds of cool opportunities, like maybe shaving Trent's beard at some point. So
he's muted.
This time it says he's muted himself.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, dang it.
I should just put my Venmo up. Sorry. Yeah.
We can do that. Please Venmo this QR code if you want to hear Trent speak for the rest of the episode.
Or not speak. Might get more money.
What was the Around the Horn? Was that the ESPN show?
I've already established what I am.
Yeah.
It's just what level I am.
That's a great soundbite right there. I love it. All right, guys. Are there any other names? Any other names that you think the Reds might end up potentially moving at the deadline if we're sellers?
I mean, we haven't talked about Eugenio Suarez. This guy a year ago is one of the top trade pieces on the market, and that said, he hasn't put up those kind of numbers this year. But everybody knows that Gino gets hot, things can happen. Nobody goes on a heater like Eugenio Suarez, and when he is on that heater, there's a lot of bombs to be had. And also, you go back to the bullpen. Pierce Johnson, Caleb Ferguson, veteran guys who've been there and done that. They will always have some value, and people always be looking out for them.
Yeah, I think the easiest answer is whoever's going to be free agent next year could be one of those names, like Trent mentioned earlier. Those are the ones that are looked at first, because of the rentals, and you can kind of almost get what you want in return, as long as it's not too greedy.
Yeah, like $100,000. Like,
we're gonna find the numbers for that, Trent, and then Mason's gonna shave one side, I'll shave the other.
But hold on, if Scarlett Johansson is involved, can we trim that number?
So who gets the front? Who gets the back?
Scarlett.
Or are we talking left and right? She can have the front.
Yeah, let's go no further than that.
Her price might have just gone up then, but we'll have to engage with her. So, on that note, gentlemen, thank you for your insight and your analysis. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you, our viewers, and please hit subscribe so we can continue to do this as many times per week as humanly possible. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.